Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining us today for this information session on the AL-INVEST Verde program and its first call for proposal. My name is Nicoletta Favaretto, and I'm working as Senior Project Officer at Eurochambers, the Association of European Chambers of Commerce and Industry based in Brussels. Today, we have a rich agenda. Christiane Beck, Director for International Donors at SEQA, Coordinator of the AL-INVEST Verde Consortium, will join me for the welcome. Then Ms. Karina Jelowska, Team Leader of the Regional Operations Security Nexus and Private Sector in Latin American Caribbean and the Directorate General of International Partnership of the European Commission, will provide us with introductory remarks on the program and an overview of the European Union priorities in Latin America. We will then dive into the AL-INVEST Verde Green program, its history, and Mr. Frank Summa, Project Manager at SEQA, will present the content of the first call for proposal. There will be then a dedicated slot for question and answers, and we invite you already to type your questions in the chat by clicking the Join the Discussion button. It is a pleasure for me to moderate and open this session today on behalf of Eurochambers. Our association represents with its 45 members, 43 national chambers of commerce and industry and 2 transnational organizations, over 20 million enterprises across Europe, and through its members, we reach a network of 1,700 European regional local chambers of commerce and industry. Eurochambers has been involved in the implementation of EU-funded programs on bi-regional economic cooperation, internationalization, and innovation with Latin America for more than 15 years. For example, the AL-INVEST, Centro America Exporta, ELAN Network, and the Latin America Intellectual Property SME Help Desk. And we are honored to be part of the implementing consortium of the AL-INVEST Verde program. It represents really several opportunities: the opportunity to support sustainable growth and jobs creation in the region, the opportunity to boost a bi-regional relationship by building alliances in the field of green economy, and the opportunity to mobilize European know-how and expertise for the benefit of Latin America micro and small and medium-sized enterprises. I'll now invite on the floor Christiane Beck for the welcome, Director of International Donors, and the floor is yours, Christiane.
Thank you very much, Nicoletta. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and good afternoon to all of you. It's an honor to at least meet you here today in my role as Head of Unit and Partner to the AL-INVEST Verde on behalf of SEQA, the lead entity of an excellent consortium that will implement this important... Sorry, I've been asked to switch on my video. It was switched on, I thought. SEQA is the lead of an excellent consortium that will implement this important and challenging program. For all of those where SEQA does not immediately ring a bell, we have been founded in 1991 by the apex bodies of the German chambers and associations to implement their development cooperation. SEQA is a development organization active worldwide, and since more than 30 years, we've been implementing international projects and programs in close cooperation with the German business community and their representative bodies. SEQA is based here in Bonn, and we employ currently more than 200 people directly or indirectly. Our work focuses on the promotion of private sector development. Please excuse my voice. Our work focuses on private sector development, as I just said, and we offer in this area competences and expertise in organizational development of chambers and associations, vocational education and training, as well as trade promotion. In previous AL-INVEST editions, SEQA has also been a partner and had a thematic focus on the realization of the so-called nucleus approach, or also business hub approach. At SEQA, or more specifically at the AL-INVEST Verde program, we work on the strengthening of small and medium enterprises throughout Latin America. With 26 years of history now since its creation, the AL-INVEST program has sought to join efforts to boost the productivity and competitiveness of small and medium and micro enterprises. We would like to highlight the importance that we collaborate on this occasion again with Euro Chambers as a partner and main counterpart here in Europe. Throughout the implementation of previous AL-INVESTs and also in the implementation of the Archipelago program in West Africa, a close partnership with the Euro Chambers was born and is based on mutual respect and trust. And this is what we want to further build on. AL-INVEST Verde presents now a new stage to continue boosting the competitiveness and compliance of SMEs through the implementation of sustainable practices such as reduced carbon footprints, a greater resource efficiency. Just recently, on the 28th of March, we have announced the first call for proposals aiming at facilitating EU-Latin America partnerships for the green transition. Together with Euro Chambers, we want to promote innovative projects that will continue to strengthen small, medium producers and entrepreneurs and to develop business opportunities for EU companies in Latin America. We appreciate the work, commitment and professionalism of Euro Chambers, and we wish them every success in mobilizing EU-interested partners for AL-INVEST Verde. Best regards from Bonn, Germany, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christiane, for your words. I will now invite Ms. Karina Jalowska, Team Leader of the Regional Operation Security Nexus and Private Sector in Latin America and Caribbean, Director General International Partnership of the European Commission, for an overview of the European Union priorities in the region. Thank you, Ms. Karina Jalowska.
Many thanks, Nicoletta, many thanks. It's a real pleasure for me to be here today with you. We have passed a long month trying to prepare the program for the program to be up and running, and today it's a good occasion for us. We finally have the concrete tools to support private sector initiatives with this launch of the call. So this is the beginning of our new, let's say, chapter of engagement with the private sector on both sides of the Atlantic. Very good moment for us in this program implementation. I will start by presenting a little bit of a thinking, of a vision of our cooperation with the region going forward in the next several years. There has been a lot of high-level discussions on the future of EU-LAC relations during the programming period of our Global Europe instruments that we have just finalized, but also in the discussions that have intensified in the past months. I think we increasingly realize that in today's world, in this very complex geopolitical context, Europe and Latin America and the Caribbean, a strategic partnership really matters in many interconnected dimensions. And this is the type of a partnership that we want to scale up, step up with the region in the future. So our continents share history, share cultural ties, share certain adherence to fundamental values that become also important. What we have seen in the recent voting at the UN Council on the Ukraine crisis, Latin America and the Caribbean have been the most like-minded of all the partners out there in the voting in the European Council. So such symbols matter, and that's why we realize more and more that this is a partnership in which we really have to invest going forward. But now, in the context of this AL-INVEST Verde program, in the context of the private sector engagement, what is really important as well is that EU and Latin America and the Caribbean are one of the most integrated regions globally. We not always realize it clearly, but this is something that we see more and clearly right now after a lot of discussions. We have agreed association agreements on trade, political and cooperation issues with 27 out of 33 countries of Latin America and the Caribbean. And if the agreement with Mercosur is ratified, almost all countries in the region would have a preferential trade relationship with the European Union. It's very important for us. And what is important as well is that in this new global context, what is important with the discussion on the trade relations is the sustainable value chains, also from the point of view of EU strategic autonomy objectives, for example, access to raw materials that are also important for our European companies, and the issues of sustainability of our trade flows also, so the environmental sustainability or sustainability from the social point of view, labor standards that we are promoting. So these are the type of issues that we want to promote in the future. We want to scale up the implementation of our trade agreements in the region to let's say to fully catalyze their potential for our economies, and we want to invest in sustainable value chains and the sustainability of our trade flows with the region. The second big part of our reflection right now is the investments in the region. The European Union is the main investor in the region, still remains so, with a regional volume of foreign direct investments higher than the ones of China, India, Japan, and Russia combined. So our investments are important, and what is also important is that in recent decades, our investment profile has changed and has moved towards sectors with high potential for green and digital transitions. We are the first investors, for example, in renewable energies, telecommunications, research and development. So we're basically not only the biggest investor, but also we're investing in the right type of investments that are promising for the let's say, modernization of Latin America economic model. One of the issues as well that it's very important for us is to address, let's say, the recovery from the COVID-19 crisis. There's no doubt that COVID-19, let's say, impact has seriously affected our economies, with the private sector, especially the MSMEs, really struggling to recover. So what we believe is that if we invest in this trade, business to business and investment agenda, we also position ourselves in a good way in terms of economic recovery of the both regions. But the EU is really resolved not to catalyze any kind of economic recovery. In the European Union, we have a clear idea of what kind of recovery we want to promote in the European Union, but also across the world. We want to build back better, using the crisis as an opportunity to accelerate the green transition and the digital transformation. And we believe the stakes and opportunities are similar for Latin America and the Caribbean economies. They have to modernize their economic model that hasn't been very efficient in the past. And the similarity of our objectives going forward creates numerous business, investment and trade opportunities between our regions that we want to support and scale up. The EU cooperation itself is also modernizing in this new global perspective. For example, I represent DG International Partnerships. In the past, we were called DG DevCo, DG Development Cooperation, so much more oriented towards development-related, poverty reduction-related cooperation. We have rebranded ourselves DG International Partnerships, also to mark this kind of a new paradigm of our international cooperation. We want to be a little bit more strategic and attentive to addressing common challenges with our partners, to address mutual interest, to build partnerships of equals, let's say, going forward. And we are also modernizing the ways we are cooperating with our partners out there in the world. We have always supported private sector dynamics. We think that building partnerships does not mean only building partnerships between the governments, between the public institutions, but a big part of our engagement and partnerships concerns private sector, and our programs like AL-INVEST or ELAN have always been in the past supportive of this type of dynamics. So passing now from our global objectives in the region into a bit more of a vision of our AL-INVEST program. So it's already since 1994 that the European Union has financed programs that encourage the productivity and internationalization of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises in Latin America. Through the AL-INVEST programs. But the 6th edition is a little bit different. We called it AL-INVEST Verde to mark, so we gave it this green spin, which of course demonstrates the alignment with our European sustainable agenda, the kind of a green strategy that implies the transformation of our economies towards a modern, low carbon, resource efficient, circular, competitive economies of 21st century. So we clearly have taken this green spin for the program, and this is the type of a green transition that we want to support. Overall, in terms of the vision for the economy, we want to ensure that net greenhouse gas emissions are no longer produced through the economic growth, let's say by 2050, and economic growth is decoupled from the use of resources. But there is also another kind of change with the AL-INVEST Verde program. In the past, we traditionally supported the Latin American MSMEs directly. And what changes this time is that we want to go a little bit more strategic, and we want to support building the partnerships between our business organizations and between our businesses on both sides of the Atlantics. We want to catalyze such partnerships going forward, and we want to let's say integrate the European private sector into our cooperation with Latin America in the Caribbean. So what is important for us, what we see is that European private sector has know-how, has embarked on its own experiences leading to the green transition. It has a clear, let's say, experiences to share with Latin American partners, and those type of partnerships are precious for us, and those type of partnerships we want to support in the future. We're very happy to see that this first call for proposals under the program is launched. It is an opportunity to provide a first-hand support to the MSMEs willing to embark on the green and sustainable business models. We hope that we will catalyze the kind of partnerships to arrive to this objective. We are making available for this call 10 million euros that will co-finance around 33 best proposals supporting such a green transition in Latin America. And what I want to say is that, of course, we realize that, let's say, the kind of funding we provide is not maybe commensurate with the kind of challenges, with the kind of ambitious objectives we have, but we consider this program as supporting some kind of a pilot initiatives that could be scaled up in the future. We will have in the future a new ways of financing of private sector initiatives. So what this call can do is to start this partnership building between Europe and Latin America, to provide some kind of a seed financing for innovative pilot projects. And we hope that in the future, with our new instruments of guarantees and loans, we could scale up this kind of cooperation and this type of innovative projects in the future. So it's just the beginning of our engagement. And I really hope that the discussions today will be fruitful and will result in numerous submissions to our call. And I wish you all the successes for the future call from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Karina, for providing the framework of the European Union priorities in the region, saying that it is important to work towards the implementation of existing foreign trade agreement and to focus on investment for the economic recovery of both regions, particularly in the green transition and digital transformation. And of course, it's very nice to see that with the new AL-INVEST Verde, there is an element of continuity with the previous programs, but also the new features. So this idea of international partnership, presenting innovative action that could be pilot for future, also bigger program, and that mobilize also expertise that it is already present in the EU. So thank you very much, Karina, for your input. So now we can dive into the AL-INVEST Verde program. So I will share my screen with a presentation. Here it is. You should be able to see my screen. Here we're going to present you the AL-INVEST Verde Component 1. So innovative partnership project for a green transition of small and medium enterprises. We would like to provide you, first of all, a sort of history of the AL-INVEST program. It is, as mentioned before, the flagship program of the European Union international cooperation with Latin America, and in particular of the economic cooperation in Latin America. The first program was launched in 1994, so we're talking about almost 28 years of history of the program. Initially, the program focused on attracting European investments to Latin America, and then facing, let's say, the societal and economic challenges of the region, the subsequent versions focus on promoting the internationalization of micro and small medium-sized enterprises in Latin America, with the idea to implement activities that could improve the productivity and competitiveness of those SMEs. The 6th edition of the program, as said before, it's now with a big focus on green economy. So the predecessor of the current program is AL-INVEST 5.0. It was coordinated by the Chambers of Commerce, Industry and Tourism of Santa Cruz in Bolivia, with a little bit of different consortium, but similarly to the current version of the AL-INVEST Verde, there was a budget of 31 million euro, and activities were implemented in 18 Latin American countries. Via 4 different call for proposal, the 67 projects were financed, and this project involved 110 business support organizations or membership-based organizations that support the private sector. Implemented activities focus, of course, in creating business linkages among micro and small medium-sized enterprises, in enhancing competitiveness and productivity of companies involved, and on, let's say, promoting and offering new and better services for the companies. There was also a component of, let's say, exchanges of best practices among the business support organizations that were involved. So with the AL-INVEST 5.0, more than 49,000 small and medium-sized enterprises benefited from the program. AL-INVEST Verde program. The Verde version has 3 different components, and today we will present the component 1, the one where we are working on. Component 1, as said, it is designed to mobilize EU expertise and investment to support the creation of private sector partnership in Latin America in the field of green transition. And the 2 additional components are deals with more work at public policy levels, so policy advocacy for an effective implementation of the basic environmental and labor standards. And this component is implemented by a consortium of member states that is led by FIAP, the International Ibero-America Foundation for Administration and Public Policy in Spain, and the international organization Italy, Latin America. And the 3rd component, as we're talking a lot about innovation, deals with intellectual property protection and management. And the idea is really to enhance the use of intellectual property legislation, particularly in the Mercosur region. And this component is implemented by the EUIPO, the EU Intellectual Property Office in Alicante. The component 1, as you know, it is led by SEQUA, Eurochambers, and 5 additional Latin American partners. We have the Guatemala Association of Exporters, there's the Confederation of Brazilian Businesses, CAINCO, the Chambers of Commerce and Industry and Tourism of Santa Cruz de Bolivia, the Chamber of Commerce of Lima, the Confederation of Mexican Employers with the office in Jalisco. This is the main consortium, and we have also 10 associates. These are organizations that are supporting the consortium, maybe with ad hoc technical expertise or in the promotion, for example, of the program as such or of the specific call for proposal. Here you can see there are also some European partners. We have the German industry, the German Chamber of Commerce, DIAKA, EBN, the European Business and Innovation Center Network based in Brussels, and the Greennovate Europe, which is an organization that includes association active in the field of sustainable innovation. What's the objective of the AL-INVEST Verde? The overall objective is to promote sustainable growth and jobs by supporting the transition towards a low carbon, resource efficient, and a more circular economy in Latin America. Specifically, what we want to do is to encourage SMEs in Latin America to adopt less polluting, more sustainable production processes and practices, and also, why not, consumption partners as a key element of their competitiveness. So what's actually the relationship between sustainability and competitiveness? Of course, sustainability can create value. Companies that develops products and services that respond to the demands of consumers that are more and more aware of the environmental impact of their consumption and who are willing to pay a premium price and show also increasing brand loyalty, can be more competitive companies. Companies can also improve their productivity, and these by having and adopting more efficient production models that reduce both cost and improve input efficiency. And companies that are also sustainable can better access finance. Financial flows are increasingly directed towards investment in environmentally friendly production methods and technology. And lastly, sustainable companies are companies that can be compliant to existing regulatory obligation, both at local, national, or international level. Existing regulatory obligation or future obligation. So the program features, we started our activity in December 2021, and the program will continue for 4 years. The allocated budget is 31.25 million euro, and the EU financial contribution corresponds to the 80%, so 25 million euro. Of these, 20 million euro are distributed by a grant scheme and with the financial assistance to third parties through open and competitive call for proposal. As you know already, the first call has been launched on the 28th of March, available on our website, and the next call for proposal, it is planned to be launched for the beginning of 2023. Of course, when we talk about financial assistance to third parties, you read in the slide here AFT, so it means apoyo financiero a terceros in Spanish, and it is really a great opportunity to finance innovative projects implemented by alliances between Latin American and EU institutions and business organizations, business intermediaries, research center, and think tanks, with the aim of achieving an effective green transition of SMEs in the region. And of course, by being in AL-INVEST Verde, what you will also enter is a network, a strong network of organizations that are working together with the same goal. Before I give the floor to my colleague Frank Summa, just I give you here the project website where you can find all the information that are publicly available both on the news and on component 1. You can have more information on the other 2 components, component 2 and component 3. And I'll also invite you to follow the program both on LinkedIn and on Twitter. So thank you very much for following me with the session. I see that Frank has joined me. So I'll stop share my screen and I'll give the floor to you, Frank.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Nicoletta and Karina and Christiane for these introductory words. Good afternoon for those who are in Europe, and good morning for those who are in Latin America. So I also have a a short presentation that I would like to share with you. So Carina and Nicoletta already set the scene for the AL-INVEST Verde, and my presentation will now be on the particularities of the first call for proposal. So my name is Frank Summer. I'm working as project manager at Sequa, the leading entity for this program. And for AL-INVEST Verde, I'm the project director based in Bonn, Germany. So the first call for proposals. Here, Nicoletta already mentioned it, and Carina, we have a total budget of 10 million euro, and projects will be financed between 250 or co-funded between 250 and 300,000 euro. This is the maximum of 80% of contribution by us or the European Union, and the other 20% are contribution by the consortia. So in the end, you are of course free to contribute more from your own resources, but the maximum budget per project or the maximum contribution is 300,000 per project. There is, and this was already mentioned by Carina as well, and I would like to reiterate it again. It's a mandatory requirement that we have projects submitted by partnerships, by alliances between Latin American and European institutions and business organizations, including those, for example, the bilateral chambers that are representing European interests in Latin America. So this is indispensable, this requirement. The projects will have a duration between 20 and 30 months. And we are looking for innovative and integrated projects. So innovative, of course, talking about green transition projects will by heart, we assume, be innovative, but integrated, we are referring to not proposing standalone activities, but integrate in a sense that there is a coherent concept behind, which is integrating all the activities foreseen in the project. A broad multiplier effect should be reached among SMEs and cooperatives and other final beneficiaries in the end, because the institutions that can apply are not SMEs, not private business, private institutions directly, but not-for-profit institutions. And it's also quite important to have synergies with other projects and initiatives at local, national, or regional level. So the project should, in the best case, not be isolated, but create synergies with others. So out of this budget of 10 million euro, we have two lots. For the first lot, 6 million euros are assigned, and this lot is called Sustainable Deforestation-Free Agri-Food Systems and Value Chains. So in the field of agri-food systems, the EU aims to support the global transition to more sustainable one, and Latin America is a major exporter of agricultural products, and hence it's quite important for SMEs in Latin America to adapt to this transition process. So the call for proposal provides opportunities for providing the private sector in the main agri-food value chains to adapt to this transition from an early point in time, enhancing their competitiveness in the process. So here, as examples are different types of action. This is of course non-exhaustive. For example, the traceability solutions that should facilitate sustainable and deforestation-free trade flows in the main agri-food value chains. And this could be, for example, development of systems for relocating, for locating relevant products with GIS systems, or setting up monitoring systems for deforestation, forest degradation, only as examples. the sustainable agricultural practices that are adapted to SMEs and small producers organizations. So, for example, promotion and development of sustainable agricultural practices, or promotion of financial instruments providing incentives for such sustainable practices. And dialogue, information sharing, and research. For example, one could imagine to develop multi-stakeholder initiatives for an integrated approach and the promotion of exchange between the two regions, Latin America and Europe. The second lot 2, has a designation of 4 million euro, and it's called Transition Towards Low Carbon, Resource Efficient and Circular Business Models. So this lot is a lot more open and covers the whole project cycle from the design phase until end of life management. So, for example, new sustainable business models, or in the production phase, the reduction of energy and water in the manufacturing process. When it comes to logistics and distribution phase, one could imagine the reduction in the transport process and in distribution process to the final target group. And when it comes to consumption and end of life management, of course, awareness raising among consumers, reduction of waste, and this kind of project. So this only as an example to give a broad overview on what these two call for proposal, these two lots are. So we have certain indicators established that the projects, each project should tackle or should propose. So we have each project should demonstrate how it is reaching these or trying to reach these indicators as set in the guidelines. So the first is the number of SMEs adopting sustainable economic practices. Then the number of SMEs that obtain firm-specific sustainability standard certification or develop sustainability enhancing traceability systems for their products. Standards in this case doesn't mean a fully fledged ISO certification, for example. This refers to certifications as well given by national chambers or other institutions, but which is more than a pure declaration of intent, but less than a whole ISO or ISO certification, for example. The number of full-time equivalent green jobs sustained or created as a direct result of support. This is, of course, quite important, as the creation and preservation of jobs is very important, as more sustainability should not be a result of replacing jobs. And the fourth, the number of SMEs reporting an increased turnover as direct result of support received. So this in brief about the indicators. And after these slides, you might ask yourself, yeah, but what is my benefit for implementing such a project? So the EU, as mentioned earlier, is elaborating different concepts, regulations related to the Green Deal, such as the Farm to Fork, Cradle to Cradle, or the regulation on deforestation. So the idea is that SMEs targeted by a project will improve their competences and green their procedures in order to enhance options to comply with these regulations and, in the end, enhance market access. And the joint participation of partners from both regions strengthens the trade, knowledge, and technology transfer links between them. This was already mentioned several times, that this is quite important for that kind of this call for proposals. And regarding competitiveness, the green transition of SMEs is a key element for the improvement of competitiveness. So nowadays, competitiveness is often seen as from an ecological and social perspective. So a company with convincing convincing procedures in place, how to act environmentally and socially responsible, may be more competitive in the end. And if you're part of one of the consortia that will implement such a project, you will not be, let's say, isolated as a project, but part of a broad network. Great visibility of the AL-INVEST program was also given in past editions. And in fact, you enter a network of different and many institutions. So there is this opportunity to participate in exchange forums and be part of an international network and have access to specialized studies and research that will be done in the course of the program. And of course, you will have the link to an EU program with a very high visible profile. Now, concrete. This was the let's say the background of it. And now, what is the process for presenting proposals? So, in fact, we have a one-step procedure. All the documents mentioned in these 3 boxes will have to be uploaded at the same time. So you will have a concept note, you will have information about the applicant consortium, and a full proposal. So it's very important, first of all, to review all the key documentation. You find it on the webpage that we published, and here it is again, a direct link to the relevant guidelines. It's also on the platform where you are going to or might upload your project. So you have two opportunities where to download the different documents. Then once you have read everything, you have to decide on which lot you would like to participate and to apply for. And then, as mentioned earlier, you have to identify at least one partner from the other regions. So if you're a European institution, you need at least one partner from Latin America and vice versa. But there's no limitation about the number of institutions that, or no upper limitation of the amount of institutions that form part of the consortium. Only this minimum of 2 institutions, one from each region. And then once you have decided on which slot to go and you have found suitable partner, you can register on the tendering platform. I will show this in later on in slides, where you register, and then in the end, the leading institution uploads all the requested documentation once it's completed. And the deadline for submission of proposals is the 27th of June 2022. So from publication, there are 3 months to go until the upload. In addition, institutions might ask, but how do I find a suitable partner? Because I can imagine that not all institutions already have an institution in mind and would like to look for a suitable partner. So you are now connected via the B2Match platform, which we created for this specific purpose. On the one hand, to share our knowledge via these information sessions. This is one part, but the other part is that it's a platform where you can meet other institutions and where you could figure out if you could set up a consortium and could go ahead with submitting a common project. So this is this B2Match platform, and as you're today here, this means that you're already registered in the platform, so you already have the possibility to identify other institutions. You're registered, and it would be recommendable to create your profile as complete as possible, so that another institution that doesn't even know what your business is all about can get a better image on what you're doing. And so the chances to find an institution with which you could find a common agreement on a project is a lot higher. So yeah, this is what I mentioned earlier, the search for complementary organizations for the development of a common project. And then you can establish contact and start meetings as many as you wish. So after this, how to apply. So first of all, please go to the website that we mentioned in different occasions. Then you will have, in the news section, you will have this part, call for proposals. And here you may download the guidelines, the application form, and 3 other short forms for applying. There's also information on the implementation guidelines and other relevant documents. In fact, there are 2 folders. One is with the main documents that you need to hand in, and the other documents are for information purposes. Then once you have downloaded, you have read, and you followed all the steps that I mentioned before, you have to go to the platform, to the call for proposals platform, and there you have to register. So here it's this red button. You create an account for your own organization, and of course, as always, it's good to remember the name and the password that you used. And here only official addresses can be used. And this would be the second steps. You complete the registration with supporting documents that are requested, such as, for example, the number and types of employees or the articles of association, so that for the evaluation committee later on, they have the baseline or the basic documents for doing the evaluation. So this is only a screenshot of how it looks like and where you have to enter your information. And the third one is then you can upload and edit your application and documents at any time until you officially submit your application. So on the left-hand side, it's a screenshot on how it looks like when it's still open, and you can change it any time. And you are always, when you're saving your documents, you're always asked if you would like to submit or if you only want to save it and later on submit it. So this is the difference here, and we kindly remind you not to wait until the very last minute, because our experience is that there is a lot of traffic when everything comes closer to the deadline, and that's why it would be good to be a little bit early and upload all the documents. So what about the evaluation process and the different steps? So we will create an evaluation committee, which will be responsible for the whole evaluation process. The process is based purely on quality, so there is no quota for certain countries, for example. It will start in July, as the deadline for handing in the proposals is end of June. So at the beginning, there will be a preliminary administrative check if the documents are okay, if the correct format is used, if the declarations are signed, the budget, if the budget has been attached. So this is a purely administrative check. Then afterwards, the second step is the evaluation of the concept note, especially concerning the relevance and the design of each project. So here the question is the project proposed relevant regarding the objectives and the indicators that were mentioned earlier in the presentation and by Nicoletta? Are the target groups clear? Is there a clear link of the proposal with the problems in the country? And is the action sustainable in a way that, for example, it might be replicated or is still valid in a few years? So not sustainable from a green environmental point of view, but sustainable as regards the implementation of the action. And in a third step, there will be a check of the or an assessment of the capacity of the consortia, especially of the operational, technical, and financial capacity, in order to see whether the institution is capable of doing and implementing such a project. What I forgot to mention for the concept note, there is up to 20 points that are given. And as well, the same applies for this third step, for this part, where a maximum of 20 points may be given, but a minimum of 12 has to be reached. If not, then this leads to disqualification of the consortium or the project. And then after having checked this, the fourth step is the evaluation of the full proposal, which includes also the log frame of the project and the budget. And here a maximum of 60 points will be given. So in total, we have a maximum points to be reached of 100 points. And once this is ended, we are assuming that this might be towards September of this year. The proposals for funding will be selected with, of course, a reserve list in case an institution or a consortium should decide not to go ahead, or for other reasons that a consortium might perhaps resign from the original proposal or proposed intent. And we will select finally in the evaluation committee the proposals. And it is in this call for proposal for these two lots, as it's written in the guidelines as well, there will be a maximum of 3 projects selected per lot and per country. And the idea is behind to have the maximum outreach or the maximum coverage of countries in Latin America. And we're talking about 18 countries. And with this first call for proposals, more or less 33 projects might be financed. So in summary, please visit our website. It definitely makes sense as you find all the information that you need for application. Download the rules and the application form. And when you decide, once you have decided to participate, then it's only worth to create an account for your organization on on the call for proposals platform. That's why we recommend to download the guidelines from our website, because the documents on the call for proposal platform can only be downloaded once you're registered. And then complete your account, as mentioned earlier, with supporting documents and requested information. Choose at least one partner from the other region. And as mentioned earlier, please don't wait until the last minute in order to submit your proposal. Yeah, then if are there any doubts or questions? So we have on the platform and on the website, there is an Excel document which we ask you in case of official questions. If you would like to ask official questions, please use this format and officially hand it in via the email address that is given. So we have, if you have questions or doubts concerning the platform, so this means pure technical questions, that you have problems with your password or something like that, there is an email address given at the manual, which is available, a technical manual, how to complete the registration on the call for proposal platform. And this manual is again in both sites, the call for proposal platform and our website. So please consult this email address for technical questions, and the others can be submitted no later than 21 days before the deadline, using this form that I mentioned earlier. And we will collect and publish the answers always on our website. So regularly, please check the website for answers to the questions that have been asked. And we will provide the latest until 8 days before the deadline of submission answers to the questions. And for your understanding, in order to ensure an equal treatment of applicants, we will only answer via this tool and via the answers given on the website. So no prior opinion from our side could be given on eligibility of co-applicants or a specific action. So it does not make sense to ask us for our opinion if we think that this or that consortium composition, for example, is a good one and is suitable or is eligible. So this would always have to be asked via the platform. But as mentioned, on that specific case, on specific setup of consortia, we could not give an opinion. This would be done then later in the evaluation process. So no individual answers will be given. So that's it in total. I hope that this was more or less clear. We are now really looking forward to receiving a lot of proposals of innovative projects, ideas, and which in the end are aimed at doing better business on a better planet, on a greener planet. And yeah, thanks a lot for your participation, and we now would like to select several of your questions and answer them, and all the ones that have not been answered, as mentioned earlier, we would kindly ask you to ask them via the form that we have put on our website. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Frank, for this exhaustive presentation. I see there's a lot of questions. As you said, we will take some of them. But first of all, I think it's the most common one. So if we will share the presentation after the event. So I think it's a yes.
Yes, it's yes. And it will be, if you go to our website, then you will see the link where the broadcast or where it is published. Yes.
Okay, so we have another question that says, did I understand correctly that each project funding is maximum 300,000 euro over 42 months in consortium with multiple partners from the EU and Latin America?
No, not correctly. So the contribution from the European Union is up to 300,000 euro. It's between 250 and 300,000 euro. So if you would like to use the maximum contribution of the European Union and would limit your own contribution to 20%, this would result in 375,000 euro of overall project, and from this 300,000 will be covered by the European Union contribution. And the duration of the project is between 20 and 30 months. But concerning the partners, I think I mentioned it earlier, you're free to include as many partners in your consortium as you wish, but the minimum is 2, 1 from each region, meaning Latin America and European Union.
Thank you. We have another question. Sustainable mobility, e-mobility, can be in the sector in which to develop a project of transfer of experience. Thank you.
I would say yes. So especially the second lot is quite open to innovative and green circular economy, green economy subjects, projects. So there, I would say it's a great variability and possibility to hand in innovative project proposals. Yes.
Okay, then we have a question. Hello, is there a common or standard format to fulfill the logical framework?
Yes, it is. If you go to the website and download the documents, you will see all the documents that have to be completed for applying, and the logical framework is part of the application form. So you will find it directly there, and the format is already given. Yes.
Okay, then there's a question on the budget. Is there any limit to subcontracting costs?
Yes, it is, but this is something perhaps you could ask this question again via the form, and we will respond to it in order not to give a wrong figure here.
Yeah, okay.
But it's clear that for subcontracting could not be a big part of the budget, of course. But the exact figure, please ask the question again. Thanks.
Okay, then we have, can you clarify who could be the applicant and the co-applicant?
In the end, it's a decision of each partnership or of each consortium who is going to be the lead. So it's good to have a look into the guidelines and to see the exact requirements for each consortium, and then internally define who should best be the lead, because there are certain information that are asked from the leading company and from the co-applicants is not as exhaustive as it's for the leading company, leading institution. So it's good to have this internal discussion and then to decide who is best placed for leading the consortium. And this is also referring to this, if you remember, this 5-step procedure when it comes to the technical, the operational financial capacity of the institution.
Yeah. Okay, so linked to this, I think there's another question that says, do all the participants in a project proposal need to register on the platform?
Yes, they do need to register, because in the process, as mentioned earlier, it's the lead applicant who will upload everything, but the lead applicant in the platform has to define who are the co-applicants. So once you apply for, once you register, sorry, you will get a concrete registration number, and this registration number identifies each single institution that registers in the platform. And this is the number that has to be given in the end to the leading institution that will then include in the official proposal, will include them as the leading, and then as co-applicants, co-applicant 1 with number ta-ta-ta, co-applicant 2 with number ta-ta-ta, and then all the with this kind of registration number, it's clearly the co-applicant is clearly identified, and all the information that the co-applicant uploaded is in the background as supporting information and documents.
Okay, we have other, I think 1 or 2. Could clusters be applicant?
We have on our in the guidelines, it is said that business intermediaries of the private sector could apply, and research centers, think tanks, and other organizations focusing on innovation, digitization, or transition to green economy. So if there is a clear indication that it's for supporting the private sector and that it's a non-profit organization, then this is possible, yes.
Okay, maybe interesting, I mean, we have a lot of questions, but maybe interesting say to this question. So if an SME can be co-applicant?
No, this is not possible, as SMEs are the final target group. But the call for proposals is targeted only to non-profit organizations that are intermediaries, like chambers or think tanks that are supporting the SMEs in the end. And this is also to guarantee a broad outreach to as many SMEs as possible. Mm-hmm. Because you can imagine, if we would have in each project SMEs directly, then we would have only 2 or 3 institutions, but targeting the intermediate level means that there is a greater outreach in the end to SMEs.
Yeah, we're replying just to the last question. So if the applicant can be European and co-applicant from Latin America, I think it's up to the consortium to decide, no?
Yes, yes. But if the applicant is European, then the co-applicant has to be Latin American, no? But this is a decision that each consortium has to make on their own, yes.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Frank, for your feedback. There are a lot of other questions, maybe also specific one to the case. So as said before, we invite all the organizations that have questions to send them using the official form, as said before, and to send them in the dedicated email address that you can find in the guidelines. As also Frank underlined several times, really please please do not wait until the very last moment to upload all your documentation, because it can be frustrating not to work for several months on a project and then not be able to finalize it because you're just uploading everything last minute. And maybe another reminder, I mean, we have the B2Match platform, so it's here for you, and make use of it. And so after these, let's say, reminders, I would like to thank personally Sequa, our project lead, for the continuous and fruitful collaboration throughout the past years, but also now, and for supporting us in the organization of this information session. I would like also to thank the European Union, in particular Ms. Karina Jelowska, for joining us today. And finally, also thank you, all potential applicants, for attending the information session and taking the time to hear more about the AL-INVEST Verde. I wish you success with the innovative proposal that you will send us and you will submit, and of course in the green transition challenge that is ahead of us. I wish you also a good rest of the day to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.